Hi. Hey, it's Nick Digilio. We're wrapping things up, man. We're getting close here. It's October 29th. It's just 2 more days to Halloween at this point. 2 more days to Halloween. Anyway, so it's October 29th, so this is the 29th movie. Let me mark that off. We're getting closer. So it's October 29th. This is the 29th movie I've been talking about. I have been doing a video a day since October 1st, focusing on one horror movie to tell you about, to hopefully turn you on to, that you can watch during the Halloween season. And one horror movie every day for 31 days. We are on number 29. And I've been randomly grabbing them. There's only 3 left here that I can feel. And I randomly grab them and talk about whatever one. Whichever one I grab is the one I talk about. Not prepared, whatever. Boom. So there you go. But please, give to my Patreon page. I've been saying this for every one of these, and I really hope that at some point you give. You can give as little as $3 a month or more if you want. All the stuff that I do, from these videos to the stories, the things that I do, the other stuff, the extra stuff that I do, and the podcast, I all do without getting any kind of pay. So this will help me. So patreon.com/NickDShow. Give what you can today. Patreon.com/NickDShow. There's bonus videos there that you have access to. As you know, if you donate, you'll get extra bonus videos, which include stories behind the scenes at WGN and all that kind of stuff. So patreon.com/NickDShow. My podcast is the Nick D Podcast. New episodes every Tuesday and every Friday, every week. 2 new episodes every week with great interviews and great guests and great stories and movie reviews and TV reviews and all kinds of great entertaining stuff. My co-host is Esmeralda Leon. It's available everywhere, part of the Radio Misfits Podcast Network. We're doing a live version of the Nick D Podcast, me and Esmeralda, on stage at Zanies in Rosemont. Get your tickets now. They're on sale now, so please buy your tickets, reserve your seats. Right now, we want to pack the place. It's going to be interactive. We got prizes to give away, surprise guests. It's going to be hilarious and fun. It's all going to be recorded. You'll be a part of a podcast. So please, please come out. Rosemont.zanies.com. Rosemont.zanies.com. It's Tuesday, November 15th at the Rosemont Zanies. Tuesday, November 15th, the Nick D Show, Nick D Podcast live. So please, please get your tickets now. Okay, here we go. I've only got 3 to choose from here, and I'm reaching down. Okay. Them. Yes. This is not the giant ant movie, as you can tell. This is a French film from 2006, maybe? 2007? Wait a minute. Maybe they got the year here. Yeah, 2007 or 2006 or 8 or whatever. Anyway, Them. 2008, I guess, 2009 maybe. I don't know. Apparently, I don't know what year it came out. All I know is that I was with my ex-wife, Heather, and we saw it together. Them. It's called Ils in French. I-L-S, Ils, is the French title. Very simple premise. It's about a couple who live in a big sort of country home in the middle of the countryside. No neighbors, no one around. It's kind of a big plot of land surrounded by a forest, big countryside, very isolated, completely isolated, beautiful old house that they're living in. And they live there. They're just a couple. And they've had traumatic events in the past, and they're trying to get over that. The guy is a writer. The woman works in a school, and she's a teacher. And it's about these 2 people who live in this home in the countryside, and they begin to be terrorized by people from the outside. So it's like a home invasion movie. It's a very simple setup. 2 people in a country home in an completely isolated house on the countryside being terrorized by people on the outside trying to get in. That's it. That's the whole setup for the movie. There is an opening scene that takes place in a car with 2 people that sets up the fact that these marauding sort of people are out there, and that they will attack you if you are in this part of the countryside alone. They will kill you. So it's set up. The opening scene sets that whole thing up, and then the rest of it sets up the backstory between the couple and just them in this house. And the rest of the movie is just the two people in the house trying to keep whoever is outside, the people outside, from getting in. And it's called Them. It was sort of remade as The Strangers in like 2011, 2012, and it was Liv Tyler. And if I remember, I think Ben from Felicity, Scott Speedman, was in it. And it had some creepy moments, but all of the moments that worked in that movie were taken directly from this movie. So if you saw The Strangers and you thought it was scary, fuck that movie. This is the original. This is where it all came from. If you thought Strangers was scary, you should see this. Now, it's in French, it's got subtitles, so you might have to learn to read, unfortunately. Or if you can speak French, you don't have to worry about that. But this is the original. If you saw The Strangers with Liv Tyler and you thought, oh, creepy, people coming into the house, oh, it's scary, that's bullshit compared to this movie. And nobody really acknowledges that The Strangers was a virtual remake, ripoff of this movie. So if you like The Strangers with Liv Tyler, fucking learn and see this. This movie scared the shit out of me. It terrified me. At one point, and I've seen it dozens and dozens and dozens of times. I saw it in the theater 3 times. And it still completely just traumatizes me every time I watch it. It scares the shit out of me. The first time I saw it, I was with my ex-wife, Heather. We were at the stupid-ass Piper's Alley. That was the only theater it was playing at. If you ever been to the Piper's Alley theater back in the day, and by the end of the run of the Piper's Alley, it was one of the worst theaters in the city. Badly run. They didn't care about the projection. The place was a dump. In the last 4 or 5 years that the Piper's Alley Theater was around, it was the worst fucking place in the city to see a movie. And unfortunately, this was playing exclusively there. And Diary of the Dead, which I talked about earlier, was also just playing there. And some really great movies ended up just playing there, like when Blair Witch played there. It played there. Southland Tales played at the Piper's Alley. Some really great movies played at a really shitty theater called the Piper's Alley, and this was one of them. But anyway, first time I saw it with Heather, and at one point in the movie I was in the fetal position. I am not kidding. I had my knees up to my chin. I was hugging myself in the movie seat, with my knees up to my chin, cradling myself, like rocking back and forth because I was so fucking terrified. And Heather was like, "Are you okay? Are you all right?" I'm like, "Yes, yeah." All right, and the reason is because I have a home invasion phobia. When I was about 5 or 6 years old, someone tried to break into our apartment, and my mom and I were home. My dad was at work. My mom and I were home. I think it was 5 or 6. I was very young, probably 5 or 6. And someone was trying to break into the back. We had a very big apartment. We lived in a very, very big apartment. 1825 West Addison, it's the greenhouse. At 1825 Addison, it's the big greenhouse right next to the Brown Line stop, the Addison Brown Line stop. If you look at the house right next to the Brown Line stop, just west of the house next to the tracks, that's where I grew up. Second floor apartment, that's where I grew up. Anyway, someone was trying to break into the back door of the apartment. And we had the door closed leading into the kitchen. Because we had it was hot out, and we had the air conditioning on, so we had the door closed in order to keep the dining room and the front room cool. And I went in to get something to drink, and I opened the door, and I heard some noise in the back door, and the back door had like a window, and in the shadow of the window, I saw someone, and I heard the door being pushed and shoved, and then a hand came in and tried to open up the chain and pushed on the door, and we freaked out, so we called the cops, and this person was on the other side of the door with their hand trying to open up the chain and pushing on the door and slamming on the door. And we freaked out, called the cops, and ran out the front door. And then the cops came, they showed up, they went into the apartment, they searched the entire apartment and said, there's nobody in there, nobody came in. They filed a report, never found the person, and the door was, and when we walked back up into the apartment, all the closet doors and all the doors were open. Like the cops looked into closets. And it was a big apartment, had a lot of closets and had a lot of doors leading into the bathroom and to the 2 bedrooms. There was a pantry that had a door, and there were closets everywhere. There were 2 doors that led out to the hallway. When we walked into the apartment, my dad came home from work, and we all walked up. My mom was terrified, I was terrified. We walked in. Every door in the apartment was open that was normally closed. Doors, because they looked in the closets, they looked everywhere. The back door was closed and locked at this point. And And anyway, it was a traumatic, and I couldn't sleep for days after that. And I don't know who it was, we have no idea. They put up on the back porch, there were windows on the back porch, they put up a kiddie pool. Whoever it was, hung up a kiddie pool to cover the windows. It was a kiddie pool that we had on the back porch. They hung that up to cover the windows so that nobody could see this person trying to get into the back door. So anyway, that little event traumatized me to this day, and that was probably 52 years ago when it happened, and to this day I triple lock my front door. I'm looking at my front door. I triple lock my front door and I chain it. My back door is chained and bolted. I live on the second floor, but when I go to bed, I usually close my windows and lock them. Anything home invasion related, I freak out. Whenever there's a movie that involves home invasion, I completely freak out. I'm thinking right now of Alex Garland's movie that came out this year, Men. There was a lot of home invasion shit in that freaked me out. So any movie, and I can't think of, but there are countless. There are dozens of movies that I can name that have home invasion stuff in them. Straw Dogs, by the way, Sam Peckinpah, now freaks me out. But this is the ultimate. This one. So if you have a home invasion issue, because ultimately, like I said, all it is people trying to get into this house, and the suspense builds, and it's terrifying, and it is. There are sequences in this movie that are absolutely, unbelievably scary. Like, this is a scary, scary movie, and it's only 72 minutes long. Another great thing about it, you're in, you're out, and it's tight, and it's taut, and it's tense. It is 72 of the most scary, intense, suspenseful, horrifying minutes that you will spend watching a movie. This is a scary movie. This is, to me, one of the scariest movies I've ever seen in my life. It's incredibly well directed. The directors would go on to make an American version of The Eye, the Japanese horror film, and Jessica Alba was in it, and that was terrible. And they did make another movie that was pretty good, but this is the first movie that they made it to America. French filmmakers. A couple of guys made this movie, and this is as good a horror movie, as good a scary. I mean, this is the definition of scary. I mean, like, oh my God, like tense, like you're gripping the person next to you. This is as suspenseful and as terrifying a movie as you'll ever see. And if you have a home invasion phobia like I do, congratulations, you will be traumatized. And I'm traumatized every time I watch it. It doesn't stop me from watching it. Like, I will watch it. But this is truly one of the most terrifying experiences I've ever had in a movie was this. One of the scariest, most intense movies ever made. Again, two people in a house, people trying to get in, 72 minutes of nonstop terror. It is one of the best ever then, okay? And it's not the giant ant movie, and it's better than The Strangers, which that movie kind of remade and kind of ripped off. This is the real deal. It's called Ils. The French title is ILS, if you're looking it up. Them, Ils. It's terrifying, and you should watch it, okay? Only 2 more movies left. Oh my God, what are we gonna do?